What if the grand love story that captivated 2 continents, the Hollywood actress, the rebel prince, the jet-set escape to a Montecito mansion, rests on a secret so volatile it could splinter the House of Windsor and vaporize the Sussex brand overnight? Imagine for a moment that Meghan Markle never carried the children the world calls Archie and Lilibet. At first blush, it sounds like conspiracy clickbait, yet the puzzle pieces keep rearranging themselves into a picture the palace would rather you never examine too closely. Her father, Thomas Markle, has looked straight into television cameras and sworn that his daughter had her eggs removed and frozen years before Prince Harry strolled into her life. Her half-brother Tom Jr. insists that a hush-hush hysterectomy followed, eliminating any chance of a natural pregnancy. Those claims alone would shatter the fairy-tale motherhood narrative, but they are only the opening salvo. Viral clips appear to show a baby bump that folds like soft foam. Paparazzi photos suggest the same toddler sometimes materializes with different hair overnight. Fresh leaks hint that King Charles privately delayed the children's British passports while lawyers scrambled to prove the kids were actually eligible. One by one, the details refused to behave. Zoom back to 2013. When Meghan was still married to film producer Trevor Engelson. Thomas Markle says that is when his daughter banked her eggs, planning for a future that might or might not include motherhood. Freezing eggs is an expensive form of time travel. Los Angeles cryo clinics quoted $8,000 or $9,000 per year to store them back then, and that meter never stops ticking. Yet Meghan's salary on Suits, $7,000 an episode for sporadic appearances, barely covered a Toronto townhouse and the stylists who kept her red carpet ready. How, skeptics ask, could she finance a decade of 5-figure storage fees? More troubling, if Thomas and Tom Jr. are right about the subsequent hysterectomy, then no amount of careful family planning can bridge the gap between frozen eggs and a womb no longer present.
And she's changed. She's not the daughter I knew. My daughter was a much more giving, loving person than she is now.
Still, the royal announcements came. In May 2019, Buckingham Palace told the world that baby Sussex had safely arrived, though no hospital corridor photos ever surfaced. Instead of the traditional St. Mary's Hospital exit, Princess Diana smiling through exhaustion, Kate Middleton tousled but radiant. There was a sterile photo call in Windsor days later, no medical staff in sight. During Meghan's second pregnancy, a now infamous video emerged. The Duchess steps down a hospital threshold, belly proud and round, then bends to retrieve a fallen item. As she squats, the bump appears to crease horizontally like memory foam under pressure, not the taut curve of late pregnancy. Surgeons on TikTok slow-mode the clip, drawing colored lines where natural anatomy would remain rigid. Their verdict? Human skin does not fold like that at 30+ weeks.
She was even photographed in Birkenhead with what appeared to be a moon bump falling out. When she was pregnant with Archie, it was pointed out that her belly swung side to side like a water balloon while walking.
The scenery in that clip raises further eyebrows. It was filmed at the height of COVID restrictions, when even grandparents were barred from maternity wards. Yet Meghan strolls a corridor in a thin gown, a camera crew floating behind her. Nurses later tweeted, and swiftly deleted, that no VIP royal booking existed the week the video supposedly shows. Was the corridor real or a rented set? The palace never clarified. A prop house employee later alleged that their shop filled a sudden flurry of silicone belly orders for a high-profile pregnancy project. She described custom-painted veins, magnetic strap rigs, and heat-reflective gel packs to mimic a living body. It sounded eerily like the apparatus viewers had spotted riding beneath Meghan's white sheath dress during the Oceania tour. Then there are the Disneyland doppelgangers. Early July 2024, paparazzi lenses capture Archie with bright ginger curls riding Dumbo. Less than 24 hours later, the same stroller glides past Star Wars land. Only now Archie's hair is warm chestnut, his freckles rearranged like constellations after a meteor shower. Internet sleuths overlaid ear shapes, tooth spacing, even the swirl direction of a cowlick. 2 different toddlers, 2 consecutive days. Children do not swap skull morphology overnight, yet mainstream outlets tiptoed around the images, fearful, it seemed, of Sussex litigation. Public behavior rarely lies, and here again the footage unsettles. Across 300 hours of public appearances, book readings, polo sidelines, Jubilee balcony moments, Meghan holds each child as if they are borrowed handbags. Elbow locked, chin lifted, gaze fixed on the lens rather than on the little face inches from hers. Not once do we glimpse the spontaneous cheek nuzzle that betrayed Kate Middleton's exhaustion or Zara Tindall's maternal mischief. Nannies orbit at arm's length like stage managers with invisible headsets. Even supporters whisper that something about the body language feels sterile. Paperwork deepens the riddle instead of resolving it. A month after Archie's birth, Buckingham Palace quietly amended his British birth certificate, erasing Meghan's given names and inserting Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. The palace claimed the change was dictated by the Home Office, yet Meghan's spokesperson retaliated that the revision was made against her wishes. In America, immigration forms listing Archie's citizenship reportedly carried the HRH, styling, a designation the Department of Homeland Security does not recognize. Clerks were said to have emailed Clarence House for guidance. Bureaucracies do not ping palaces unless something on the form has set off klaxons. Meanwhile, the palace maintained the stiffest upper lip in Europe. Queen Elizabeth reportedly decreed that royal highnesses must live royal lives. No HRH, she warned, for those earning Netflix millions across the Atlantic. But after her passing, Charles, announced as a modernizer, allegedly capitulated, letting Archie and Lilibet retain titles. Critics say he feared public sympathy for Harry's punished children narrative. Yet by granting the titles without simultaneously releasing incontrovertible proof of birth legitimacy, Charles may have only fueled suspicion. British succession law is old and blunt. An heir, not naturally born of the body of a royal mother, could be cast aside by Parliament. If surrogacy were proven and concealed, a constitutional migraine would animate Westminster like nothing since Edward VIII abdicated for Wallace Simpson. Why then would anyone risk such peril? Lawyers offer 3 motives. First, brand leverage. Children of a prince and duchess carry a lifetime of story rights. Picture books, animated series, curated clothing lines. Second, marital insurance. 2 royal heirs tether Harry to Meghan in perpetuity, complicating any future divorce settlement beyond calculation. Third, sympathy shield. Attack a duchess, and you attack a mother. Public outrage becomes a moat no critic wants to cross. Whatever the real incentive, the outcome remains. Every unexplained photograph, every clipped answer in an interview, every lawyer's letter to a newspaper strengthens the perception that a carefully choreographed illusion is cracking under its own weight. Across social media, the wildfire now has a name: sheer moon bumpgate. TikTok compilations dissect the belly video frame by frame. A New York neurologist posted a heat map comparing Meghan's bump silhouette to medical averages, pinpointing fundal height discrepancies. That clip alone harvested 70 million likes. YouTube's recommendation engine now surfaces more fake pregnancy montages around Sussex content than official royal interviews. Media scholars note a grim irony. Attempts to censor or threaten only make the algorithm burn hotter. The more fiercely PR hoses down rumors, the more the digital inferno reignites elsewhere. Legacy outlets tread gingerly, citing English defamation law's ruinous damages. Editors weigh the potential scoop against the certainty that Harry sues like a man who replaced polo mallets with writs of summons. TV executives guarding exclusive Sussex access refuse to touch pregnancy questions with a barge pole. Into that, vacuum surge independent creators, monetizing speculation, the big players seated for fear of court. History offers ominous parallels. Queen Mary endured 2 phantom pregnancies, so convincing that midwives camped under her bed. Queen Anne's brutal string of miscarriages prompted rumors of infant smuggling. Even George III's estranged wife Caroline faced whispers that she slipped an illegitimate baby into the palace nursery. Whenever succession meets secrecy, rumor mutates into political shrapnel. If 21st century Buckingham attempts to stonewall while smartphones record every eyelid flutter, the fallout could dwarf the scandals of Tudors and Georgians alike. What event might finally rip the curtain? A California custody battle could compel DNA disclosure. A disgruntled hospital employee might leak anonymized records. A parliamentary revolt, should Prince William pursue a leaner monarchy, could subpoena medical proof. Even a rogue hack of an ancestry database could light the fuse. Any spark risks detonating not just Harry and Meghan's carefully tended image, but the wider mystique of monarchy itself. For now, the palace advances one strategy: silence, and the Sussexes advance another: selective visibility. Harry sues tabloids for intrusion one week, then invites Netflix cameras into his chicken coop the next. Meghan laments toxic media on a podcast while releasing a glossy photo shoot featuring pastel-iced cupcakes said to be baked by Lilibet. Every contradiction rings louder than the last. A former royal press secretary notes that audiences forgive mistakes but despise manipulation. Nothing erodes empathy faster than the sense of being played. So the world watches, comment counts soar, and the question refuses burial. If Meghan truly carried those children, why not squash rumor with a single stamped hospital record? If she did not, why double down on a tale that may eventually collapse under its own disbelief? Fairy tales survive on faith. Faith survives on facts. Remove the facts, and even the most dazzling narrative turns to dust. Perhaps the truth will surface through a quiet midnight communique, admitting a surrogate journey, for medical reasons. Perhaps a courtroom will pry it loose, or perhaps it will slip out in some future historian's footnote. Until then, every stiff smile, every missing piece of paperwork, every oddly folded gown invites another viewer down the rabbit hole. And if the illusion finally shatters, The blast radius will not end at the gates of a Montecito mansion. It will ricochet through Buckingham's marbled corridors, across Commonwealth parliaments, and into history textbooks debating how a 21st century dynasty tried to outwit the unstoppable scrutiny of a networked age. In the end, the saga narrows to a simple choice: smoke without fire, or the boldest image con job in modern royal memory. The public awaits its answer, scrolling, screenshotting, slowing every frame, unwilling to let the mystery rest. And somewhere behind palace walls, those who know the birth certificate's unredacted truth must wonder how long silence, always the monarchy's oldest weapon, can hold against the relentless roar of the internet's crowd.